Bolts and the Bruins ready to go. Washington, the Huskies ready to go, and we are just about ready to lift the lid on this series between these longtime conference rivals as A.J. Guerrero gets ready to stand in for Washington. First of three tonight between the Bruins and the Huskies. UCLA at 10-2 at the top of the Big Ten standings. Washington, however, just 2 games back at 8-4. Wyland Moss starting for the second consecutive Friday for UCLA, the true freshman out of Mater Dei High School. Getting ready to go against one of the most experienced guys for Washington in Guerrero. And the first pitch is grounded foul up the third base line and off the foot, it appears, of A.J. Guerrero. Strike one here at 6:02 in Los Angeles.
That's a way to start a game. And with Wyland Moss on the mound, he's been looking pretty good all season. Only 2 earned runs in his last 12 innings or so innings pitched. He's got that fastball, which will get mid-90s, followed by that changeup, which he uses most often, then a slider that he'll dabble in there every so often.
Tagged by Guerrero to left field, and Dean West has to watch it drop in for a base hit. And so Guerrero, the senior and a 4-year starter for the Huskies, gets the weekend started on the front foot. Here's the rest of the lineup for Eddie Smith and company. After Guerrero, we will see Kaysen Taggart, the Washington State transfer. Colton Bauer back doing the catching. Malachi Knight knows these parts very well. And it's DeCarlo, Terry, Hotchkiss, Wilson, and Cole. Washington winners of 5 in a row, a season-long winning streak. And now here is the big left-handed hitting Taggart taking outside for ball 1.
And one thing to note about the Huskies this season, pretty active on the base paths. Guerrero at first base, 4 stolen bases. Malachi Knight with 11 on the season so far in that 4-hole.
Third most stolen bases in the Big Ten, in fact. As Moss gets one at the knees, 1-1. So Moss got his first weekend start last Friday against San Diego. Allowed 1 earned run in 4 innings, 2 walks, and just 1 strikeout. On the ground to third, right at Roman Martin. Turns to second, call on the move, not in time. On the way they had the defense oriented there, Call had to cover a lot of ground to get to the bag.
Yeah, and they'll take the fielder's choice. Yeah, Martin got that ball pretty quickly. Ball hit pretty hard on the ground. And he moves out of the box pretty fast from that left side. Martin playing off the line, throws it to the bag. Call's not there yet, as you mentioned. Phoenix Call, the second baseman, playing for the pull. So they'll take the fielder's choice, but again, another stolen base threat on the bases in Taggart.
Now here's Colton Bauer. And a first pitch strike on the outside. Well, Bauer had been a little bit nicked up, and he is back in the lineup after missing 5 games. Tied for the team lead with 5 home runs this year. Right through it, 0-2.
Pretty steady diet of fastballs. Just the 1 slider that we saw to leadoff hitter A.J. Guerrero, and that was for a hit. He stayed pretty steadily fastball ever since.
One ball, 2 strikes.
And you take a look at that defensive overshift. All 3 infielders playing to the left, so just Lavu covering the bag at first base.
Foul tip held on for a strikeout. 2 gone.
That's exactly where you want to locate that changeup. Keeps it down in the dirt, tails back in towards the plate. 3 fastballs, and then this changeup, and that's a beauty. Starts at the knees, ends up down in the dirt. I think it might have been a tip too, so good job behind the plate by Cash Duggar.
So 2 retired after the leadoff single, and now here is UCLA's former center fielder, Malachi Knight. Looks at ball 1. So Knight played here for 3 seasons. Had some injuries that halted his freshman and sophomore years a little bit short. But 81 starts over his time here in LA. And he's a native of Marysville, Washington. And back playing close to home for his senior year. 2 balls, no strikes.
I feel like a changeup that maybe just got away from him right there. We talked about his stats earlier. Great ERA, great strikeout stats, but the biggest one, those walk per 9 numbers down in the 2s. He's been excellent with his control.
Looking for the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. And that's up the middle, base hit. Two on, 2 out for Washington as they threaten in the first inning.
And Knight just got a fastball right down the middle, 2-0 count. When you get a cookie right down the middle, you're going to take it. Just a solid swing. Early on so far, Washington aggressive early in the count. We're already at hitter number 5 in the lineup. Just like that. Every at-bat, maybe only 2 or 3 pitches each.
There's another longtime starter coming to the plate for the Huskies, Sam DiCarlo. And he's a SoCal guy from the Long Beach area. Signal Hill, more specifically. And takes strike 1. Now DiCarlo, a 3-year starter for the Huskies. He's moved over from third to shortstop this season. No 1-1. Washington started the season just 3-8. They've gotten themselves back even overall for the year at 17-17. And they have won 3 out of their first 4 Big Ten series. At the top of the zone, 1-2.
And he gets the call from home plate umpire William Van Raffhorst.
And DiCarlo, not a big guy either, 5'9". And now has to protect. 2 on, 2 out in the first. 2-2.
Speeding him up and trying to slow it down. A steady diet of fastball change, went back to the fastball there.
And now time called at the plate. DiCarlo was asking for it, and William Van Raphorst grants it. Prior to the sweep against Purdue, series wins at Nebraska, home to Maryland, dropped 2 out of 3 at Rutgers. And that gets off the tip of Duggar's glove all the way to the backstop, advancing each of the runners. Now 2 in scoring position and a full count.
That's a big 90 feet and a potential mistake. A single drives in both those runners. That's Knight at second base, and he's got excellent speed.
Officially scored a passed ball. 3-2. Ball 4. So the bases are loaded in this first inning. But UCLA's opening day starter Cody Del Vecchio remains out indefinitely, so Moss has been elevated to this Friday night role for the last couple of weeks now. And perhaps still adjusting to all that comes with that. And now has to deal with Braden Terry coming off the great weekend against Purdue. And there's a bouncer for ball one.
Good block behind the plate by Duggar there that time. Especially with the lefty in the box. Moss trying to use that changeup, that movement to get a swing and miss.
Throw to second, checking on Knight with Chalowski covering the bag.
Trying to make it interesting. 2 outs in the inning, so any way they can get that out, they'll try.
6 batted in over the last 3 games for Terry. And a big cut and a miss. Terry's been the top hitter for the Huskies in conference play, hitting .361. He's left the yard 3 times, and he's batted in 11 in the first 12 Big Ten games. Sprayed down the left field line, slicing foul, and it does land out of play. 1-2.
And a good bounce back by Wyland Moss on the mound to started with those 2 changeups. Now back even, or at least a 1-2 count rather, on that fastball. And bases juice, 2 outs. Of course, he's got the force out at any base, but he'd like this K. Take a look at the defense. You see Brock Chalowski, the UCLA shortstop, staying close to that second base bag.
1-2, grounded to first. LaVue able to handle it, flips to Moss, and he's there in time to retire Terry and get the final out of the inning.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Jackson Hotchkiss will lead it off. Blake Wilson, Trevor Cole to follow. First pitch strike against Hotchkiss, who was the opening day center fielder this year for Washington. Did that as a true freshman. He's been playing in right field since the beginning of March. One ball and 1 strike. 1 strikeout in the first inning for Wyland Moss. Also issued a walk, but left the bases loaded. Looking for the corner, does not get the call. 2 balls and a strike to Hotchkiss. Big Ten Freshman of the Week. 2 home runs over his last 5 games. Three and 1.
These are good misses by Moss on the mound. 2 good changeups. Just a better job by Hotchkiss on these last 2 pitches, just spitting on them.
And that is lined to left field. The base hit. West can't cut it off. It gets all the way to the wall. And Hotchkiss is standing on second with a leadoff double.
That was hit with authority off the bat. When you get into a hitter's count like that, you're sitting dead red. This pitch left right down the middle. Pulls it to the left side. Just like that. Now Washington answering back with a runner of their own in scoring position. Chance to score here. And we'll see if they can make that mistake by UCLA on the base paths pay.
So Moss right back into the stretch. Now dealing with Blake Wilson. On the first pitch, lines it on the ground into left field. Hotchkiss held up at third. But Washington now in business. Runners on the corners and nobody out.
Almost like first pitch he was looking off speed. That was a pretty good swing on a first pitch changeup. Good movement, good location. Perhaps maybe got a little bit too much of the plate though. And Washington not trying to be too aggressive yet. No outs in the inning, so holding that runner at third base.
It's already a fourth hit for the Huskies. And a lot of loud contact here early on. Now the ninth place hitter, Trevor Cole. Cole, a grad transfer from Florida Gulf Coast. Was playing third for much of the year, but Wilson is now taking on that role. And Cole has moved on over to second. 248 this year with 22 driven in. 1-1. That outside corner not coming easy for Wyland Moss so far.
Yeah, not getting the calls either. Some good frames behind the plate by Cash Duggar. William Van Raphorst, the home plate umpire, running a tight ship on that side of the plate.
And another pitch off the outside, 2-1.
And it's a pretty consistent approach by Moss to the outside part of the plate. Then he comes back in with that changeup, and it almost feels as if these hitters are waiting for that changeup.
There goes the runner from first. It's a pitch up and in. Duggar double clutched it. And as they come back home, it skips away all the way to the backstop. Hotchkiss scores for the first run of the game. And Wilson, running on the pitch, winds up at third.
So a lot happening on that play. Went back to the changeup, Wyland Moss. But it kind of felt like Cash Duggar behind the plate maybe didn't get a great grip on that ball as he threw it. Then Phoenix Call, the second baseman. You see a little extra step here, and then Call as he threw it back. Basically just spiked it.
And that's inside out into second. That'll score another run as Call throws out Cole. But Wilson scores, and Washington has taken a 2-0 lead.
And they're just making it look easy out there. I mean, this is just fundamental baseball. Take advantage of your opponent's mistakes. And UCLA, sort of a rare moment this season where we've seen their mistakes be exploited by an offense or certainly a defense.
So the base is clear, one out. And now it's back to the top of the lineup, and a big swing from A.J. Guerrero, who singled to left field in his first at-bat.
That was on 2 pitches. Second pitch got a slider and just went with it.
On the ground up the middle, Call shaded that way, knocked it down on the backhand, and then throws it high. On a carom, it comes all the way back out into the infield, holding Guerrero at first. Now Guerrero is aboard for the second time.
And just an errant throw. Looks like they're going to call that a hit. Hard hit ball up the middle. That may be a little frustration here in this inning. Hard hit ball. Call doing a good job of just breaking that ball down. That throw just a little bit high, of course. A little bit of frustration in the dugout after that play.
So it's already a 5th hit for Washington, and now it sets up Taggart. And a changeup for strike one. So by the way, on that stealing sequence, if you're scoring at home, officially a double steal, and then Wilson advancing to third on the E4. So 2 more stolen bases for a team that loves to be aggressive. Ground ball to second. Call flips to Chalowski on to first, a double play to get out of the inning.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Washington playing the better game, at least tonight.
Phoenix Call leads off the third. And he takes a strike at the belt from Max Banks. Well, Call rounding out the order. Hitting .250 this year. 1 home run and 17 batted in. Off the end of the bat, base hit left field. No, Call is aboard. That snaps a run of 4 retired in a row by Banks.
And a little bit of life. Pretty good swing off the bat by Call. To your point, a little bit off the end of the bat. But we haven't seen that level of aggressiveness off of the bats of these UCLA hitters so far. Again, the 2 hits they had prior to this were both of them were dinker shots. Not hit hard.
And a quick throw right away to check on Call. So now the top of the order, Dean West had that bloop single to right center field. 1 ball, no strikes. So West extending his hitting streak to 9 games with that base knock. He's also got, excuse me, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that Call on first now, not necessarily a threat to run, but he does have pretty good speed, only 1 stolen base.
Now 1 for 4 in that regard. 2-0 to West, who yanks it on the ground and into right field. Call holds up at second as Hotchkiss rifles that throw in, but the Bruins have back-to-back singles to lead off the 3rd inning.
In this inning, maybe a change of the tides for UCLA. Back to the top of the lineup. 2 hard-hit balls on 4 pitches. 5 pitches, rather, and quick runner in scoring position here and a chance to maybe make a dent in that deficit.
So here's Chalowski. Ball 1 off the outside from Banks. Chalowski trying to extend an 8-game hitting streak. UCLA's top offensive player. And nearly gets hit there. He's drawn plenty of those this year, but gets ahead 2-0.
14 hit by pitches this season.
But he leads UCLA in batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging. Drills it high in the air to left field, sending Guerrero back at the track. He's settling, and he's cut off by Knight at the last moment. Runners tag and advance. Call to third. West up to second behind him. And all kinds of traffic out there near the wall. Looked like Guerrero had it handled, and Knight flies in.
Yeah, and Knight, I mean, he showed off that arm earlier in the game to throw Chalowski out at the plate. And Chalowski, he missed a home run by a matter of maybe 2 feet. That launch angle way up in the air. And you see Knight as he just sort of zooms in and calls off that left fielder, Guerrero. And a pretty good throw to third base. Almost nabs Call.
But now 2 in scoring position for LaVue, who takes ball 1. Curveball gets the outside to even the count. Well, LaVue really blossoming this year as a sophomore. There goes chasing. Tight slider there from Banks. 1-2.
Doing a good job of keeping Lavu out in front. I throw it again.
Instead, it's well off the outside.
And if you're Lavu in the box, 1 out, all you got to do is just induce some type of contact to get a run in. Don't have to hit it too hard, don't have to do anything too fancy.
Called third strike on the inside. So Lavu cannot put the ball in play. Banks picks up his second strikeout.
And all things considered, Bauer behind the plate set up away, but this pitch ended up middle in, and I think it did hit that corner. Usually an umpire won't give you that strike call when you're set up on the opposite side of the plate, but a bit of a gift there, but I think a strike regardless.
So now it's up to Roman Martin, who has already singled tonight. And he lines the first pitch to left field, base hit, bouncing in front of Guerrero. 1 run is in. Here comes Dean West. The relay not in time. It squirts behind the catcher Bauer, but it's backed up by Banks. And Roman Martin has tied the game with a 2-run single.
And talk about a momentum shift that UCLA needed. First couple of at-bats, first time through the order. UCLA a bit sluggish, not a lot of hard contact. And finally, 2 ducks out there in scoring position, and Martin finally gives them some hard contact to left field. He's been good. And just like that, UCLA back in the game. Fresh score.
First pitch that Martin saw as West got in there. Roman Martin 2 for 2. Had a chance for Salgado to hit. And looks at the slider for strike 1. Now you said it, though. It's been a different approach for UCLA getting the lineup a second time through against Banks. Smacked foul by Salgado.
And I mean, to their credit, this is an offense that in the last 5 or 6 games or so, their average runs scored is around 10 runs a game. So this isn't an offense to be played around with. And they just made adjustments. First time through the order, weak contact, new approach coming here.
Just outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And I think again there we see that outside corner, William Van Rapport's not giving that call, but he's giving the inside part of the plate.
Another foul ball down the left field line and out of play.
And the danger of a zone like that for Banks is a lot of these UCLA hitters, particularly these lefty hitters, they love that inside pitch. Fastball or off speed. That's their heat zone.
Banks now over 50 pitches for the evening. And a check on Martin, just to keep him honest over there.
And in terms of pitch count for Banks, to your point, his last outing, he threw 97 pitches, so they can expect pretty good runway by Banks.
There goes Martin taking off, and that ball is well offline into right field. DiCarlo went tumbling trying to get it, but it was well offline from Bauer. And now Martin is 90 feet away from putting UCLA in front.
And it almost feels like the two teams, they reversed in terms of making mistakes out on the field. This throw wasn't even close, and neither of those middle infielders were there to, pick up the ball. So for Martin, he's got 3 stolen bases on the year and now make that number 4. That's a big extra 90 feet he just got there with 2 outs.
Second error against Washington. 2 balls, 2 strikes at the plate to Salgado. Struck him out on the curveball, and that'll end the inning.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
As Sam DiCarlo settles in against Randall. And there's a first look at that mid-90s fastball for strike one. One ball and one strike.
As we alluded to, almost exclusively fastballs coming out of his arm. He'll challenge you.
And gets a swing and a miss.
That was a slider on that pitch. Didn't see any of that against Long Beach.
Is that another slider there?
Mixing it up.
2 balls, 2 strikes against DiCarlo. And fouled off. Well, DiCarlo was hitting leadoff for a good chunk of the season. Only hit 186 in that role. But they've moved him into the middle of the lineup, and he's hitting 333 now. That's paid off. And that ball got up by us and just broke some glass as it got through the net. And thankfully, everyone in here is okay. Oh, my goodness.
We almost died.
There's Sid on the right side, and there's the glass right above replay tech, Pat, and that one gets back and out of play. So if I can make a plea to whoever is in charge of the netting, that's the second ball in the last 2 weeks that we have seen go through the netting behind the plate.
Yep.
2-2 pitch now as the game continues, and it's a strikeout for Randall. So a long battle goes to the right-hander.
Let's take a look at that replay on that pitch. Goes back inside. A lot of emotion on the mound from Cal Randall. And we're still dealing with the aftermath of that foul ball here in the booth.
Now here's Terry. 1 ball, no strikes.
So how about that for some drama to the broadcast tonight?
Now the 1-0. And just off the outside, 2-0. So thankfully, it was a double pane of glass up there because the window was pushed up. So it got through the first bit of glass, and then it was stopped by the second. Now, unfortunately, they're getting everybody away from the seats down here because that whole first plane of glass has just been wiped out and has been splintered.
And you take a look, it's this glass right here that got...
Meanwhile, it's 3-1 to Braden Terry. And I've got a direct line of sight on the twine that broke.
Yep. Luckily it didn't come this direction.
Full count now.
And you talk about baseball being a game of inches. And there's 4 of us here in this booth. Just like a foot lower, this would be a different conversation.
Fouled off. Three balls, 2 strikes. And Randall's pitch. Fouled off to the left. So Washington working more counts. And that's ball 4. As Hotchkiss will be the batter for Washington against a new pitcher for UCLA in August Souza. And there is ball 1 down and away. Souza, the transfer from Santa Clara. And he just seems to be getting better and better this season for the Bruins. 1-1 there, and total flip of what these Washington hitters were seeing when Cal Randall was out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Randall coming in with that high-intensity velocity. Souza with good speed on that fastball as well, but you're going to see a much more varied mix of off-speed in there.
Tagged up the middle, base hit. Terry holds up at second. And there is the first hit for Washington since the second inning. And they're in business looking to take the lead in the 6th. Hotchkiss now 2 for 3.
And he was all over that fastball on that pitch. Ended up middle in, and just a good swing on it. Fastball up the middle. And Rock Chalowski playing towards third base on that play, so 1 out now. Chance for a force out at any of the bases, but also certainly he's looking for a double play here on the mound.
So that brings up Wilson. Now that bounced in front of home, but blocked by Duggar to hold the runners right where they are. Wilson has not been retired. Slider, line to left field, falling quickly west. Won't get there. Bounces in front of him. Chalowski's got to help him out. Meanwhile, Terry will score. The throw into third, not in time. Washington retakes the lead.
First pitch swinging. Dean West trying to go for the dive, but especially with that runner in scoring position, you don't want to dive against your glove side towards the line, especially for that reason, because if you miss that dive, it can be tough for anyone else to get out there to get it. Luckily, this ball was hit shallow enough where Rock Chalowski was able to sprint out there and get that ball into third. That's a big run, and not hit well, but hit where nobody is.
Second and third, 1 out. And a strike at the knees to Trevor Cole. What a night for Wilson. Now 2 for 2. As he drives in a run there, back-to-back singles for the Huskies, and they're back in front. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Souza doing a good job bouncing back here. Again, that last hit, not hit hard, so Souza did his job. But now with 0-2, 1 out, he's looking for the K.
In the air, down the right field line. Hawking has to hustle on the move, and it's a foul ball. Now, it looked like Hawking pulled up there. He figured, let me let this land foul and not give an opportunity for Hotchkiss to tag and score.
A little strategic play out there by Jared Hawking, yeah. Because if he catches that ball, to your point, Hodgkin will come and score. Hawking only really has an attempt at that ball on the dive. Meanwhile, it's an 0-2 count, so a couple of pitches in UCLA's favor here.
There's a fly ball to right center field. Salgado squaring up. Makes the catch. Here's the throw in. Not in time, and it will allow Washington to double up the lead. Now 4-2 as Hotchkiss scores on the sac fly from Cole.
Washington finding a way to make it work. None of these balls particularly hit hard off the bat. At the same time, you don't have to hit that ball hard to get the run in. And just like that, another runner in scoring position here chance for them to pad the lead here.
And back to the top of the lineup. A.J. Guerrero, 2 hits tonight. Strike one. Washington has always brought their best against UCLA. 4 consecutive series wins over the Bruins entering this weekend. And a good start to this one here in 2025. Fly ball to center. Salgado started back. Now comes in and makes the catch. And that'll end the inning. But Washington back on top. 2 runs on 2 hits. And it's the Huskies leading 4-2. Blake Baltz leading off an inning for the 3rd time tonight. And he looks at the curveball outside.
And to reiterate that point, too, about his pitch count, nobody in the bullpen going yet for the Huskies.
Strike down at the knees. Foul ball, and that'll get out of play.
So a couple of off-speed pitches here from Banks facing Baltz, who had a good game against Long Beach on Tuesday. Banks about to hit 90 pitches in the game.
Two and two.
Well, it's taking a little extra time here between pitches.
And now a full count.
For the exception of that 0-2 pitch, exclusively off speed. He's got to come back in. Doesn't want to walk the leadoff runner on.
Fouled off. Now UCLA, 3rd time through a lineup, they have been working counts against Banks a bit more. And this will be the 7th of the at-bat here against Baltz. Ball 4. 4th walk of the game for Banks. And UCLA has a leadoff man aboard for the first time since the 3rd inning.
They could use anything right now. A free pass to start off an inning. That's ripe for good news for this offense who's looking to get back into scoring position. Again, we talked about how they've had their chances with runners in scoring position today. Hoping to get Baltz over to second and make a dent in this 2-run lead.
Strike one into Jared Hawking. Couple of flyouts tonight. Down the right field line, slicing foul. And it's 0-2.
After that 7-pitch at-bat to Blake Baltz that resulted in that leadoff walk. Quick 2-strike count. First pitch on a slider. And followed up with that fastball we just saw. So a couple of pitches to play with. Doesn't need to be back in the zone with an 0-2 count.
Struck him out. So after the walk, Banks comes back for his 5th strikeout of the evening.
Slider, fastball, then slider. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Bit of a hanging pitch, though, honestly. This one was left up at the belt, middle of the plate. Hocking just missed it. In fact, the home run that Hocking hit on Tuesday was on a similar pitch.
The 1-on-1 out for Duggar.
And Balt's at first, not necessarily a threat to run. Splits time between DH and catcher, so he's got catcher's legs.
Oh, Duggar drew a walk last time up in the 4th. UCLA needs this bottom half of the lineup to produce. 5 through 9 in the order have just 1 hit between them. That was Phoenix call back in the 3rd inning. Duggar went around. Will Van Raphorst rings him up. 2-1. And now the count to 2-2. And this has kind of been Banks' MO all night, hasn't it? He hasn't always gotten ahead, but he battles right back.
He does. And to your point, I mean, throughout this game, he's 12 for 26 on first pitch strikes. So has not been getting ahead of hitters, but fights his way back into favorable counts.
To the opposite field, Guerrero tracking it down and makes the catch for out number 2. So after the leadoff walk, 2 unproductive outs induced by Banks. It was 1 out away from going 6 strong for the 5th time this season. And what's his 7th start? That's exceptional stuff at the college level.
Yeah. Season high, too, as you're alluding to there with that pitch count. Even 100 now.
Ball 1 to Phoenix, call.
And while earlier in the game, Banks was using that fastball and perhaps the speed of that fastball, he's definitely toned that down. Relying a lot on his off-speed pitches. At least half, if not more than half of the pitches he's thrown in the last 2 innings have been off-speed.
Another 2-0 count. Fastball, shot in the air, down the right field line, foul. Isaac Yeager next in line for the Huskies. He has been nails this season. So as they look to set things up for a Game 1 victory, no surprise, Yeager looks to be the guy. When the night is done for Banks, who has crossed the century mark tonight. Balt still over there at first after the leadoff walk. At the top of the zone for strike 2. And that got a piece of call on the elbow. Banks trying to say he leaned into it, but William Van Raphorst is granting call. First base. Eddie Smith out of the dugout for Washington. And this will potentially be looked at.
And, I mean, there's an argument to say he leaned into that for sure. Let's take a look from the side. Hits him right in that elbow guard.
And here comes a call from Casey Moser. And he is out. So strike three on the play. That'll do it. UCLA strands a leadoff walk.
What they'll often have there is sit next to the coach who's calling the pitches. That's John Savage, and you just try to figure out what their tendencies are, what their strategy is at the plate. When you go up there tomorrow, you know what to look for.
Taggart trying to get himself aboard. The Washington State transfer has been their best hitter throughout the course of the season. He's been a walk machine this year and has a chance to get one here, now 3-1. He is fourth in the conference with 30 walks on the year.
Second most in that lineup is 22, so 8 walk difference.
Full count now. August Souza continuing here. Came on in the 6th. One of those 2 runs charged to him. The other went to Cal Randall. 2 runs in the 2nd, 2 more in the 6th for the Huskies. And Taggart will see a 7th pitch. Taggart played in this ballpark last year with Washington State and did well for himself. 5 for 11 in that series with a home run. Shot foul on the ground.
Hello, using the UW dugout. Pitch number 8 coming up in this at-bat.
Ball 4.
And that's a pitch that perhaps these pitchers have been getting as strikes in earlier innings. Inside fastball, good pitch, just missed the plate. So yet another leadoff runner on base for the Huskies.
Now they are 4 for 7 in that regard. And now that'll bring up Bauer to the plate. It's now 5 walks for Washington's offense. In the air down the right field line. Long run for Hawkeen as this gets out of play. Bauer, another guy who's a former Washington State Cougar. Spent his freshman year in Pullman back in 2023. now in his second year with the Huskies. Oh, and 2. Right over the top of that pitch. But UCLA takes game 1 on the softball diamond. Another foul ball here from Bauer.
Fastball, slider, fastball.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Now Taggart at first base. Runner. 5 stolen bases. Not super aggressive leads so far.
And another foul.
Alternating. Fastball, slider. Still 1-2 count, so still the opportunity to mix speeds here. Now on that swing, you can tell that he's early on the fastball, so it would make sense to maybe go back to the off speed, maybe throw a little out of the zone.
Now that ball hits and gets, and that one gets into the dugout out of play. So Taggart will advance up to second. UCLA keeping the shift on against Bauer as they have all night. And another ball in the dirt from Souza, 2-2. Souza, the third pitcher tonight for UCLA. Wyland Moss started the game, 2 runs, 1 earned in 5 innings. Cal Randall came on for 1 out. And now it's been Souza. And they throw back to second. And in time, there is Taggart. This will be the 7th pitch of this at-bat. Another lengthy one. Driven in the air, left center field. It's on its way as Salgado races after it. And he makes the catch up against the wall. Salgado on the run, able to rob Bauer. Taggart advances to third.
What a play by Salgado there. I think you could even hear the fence all the way from here in the press booth. Full speed, it almost seemed like. Pretty well hit off the bat. Just a straight sprint to that 370 by the men of Westwood sign, and that's a great catch. The composure and the mindset of throwing that in as quickly as you can to prevent that 180 feet score on the tag. What a great heads-up play.
So now the infield is in for Malachi Knight with 1 out and the runner on third.
Now, UCLA, they're trying to prevent that run. Playing infield in. Phoenix call set towards second base for the pull.
And that is sent the opposite way into the gap. Hawking on the run makes the catch, but that is plenty deep enough to score Taggart and extend the lead for Washington.
And just great situational hitting by these Huskies. And Knight's been making great contact all game. He just needed to get that ball into the outfield and gave that one a pretty good ride.
And that'll be an unearned run because of the errant throw on the pickoff previously. Now 2 outs in the inning for DiCarlo. Fastball at the knees. Strike one. Washington takes advantage of that leadoff walk, aided by the error. Now DiCarlo puts the bunt down, and it's going to be Duggar rifling the throw in time, right on target, and that'll end the inning. We will start with the top of the order here in the 7th. Dean West, Rock Chalowski, and Levi Lavu.
And he's got a pretty varied pitch count, too, on the mound this season. He's gone up to 70 pitches. In fact, that was mid-March against Gonzaga.
Quickly 0-2 against West. Now, Yeager's been pitching a lot, too. It's now his 5th time on the mound in the last 6 games. And he strikes out West on 3 pitches.
3 straight off-speed pitches. Dean West this time couldn't work that count. Pretty nasty on that slider. Started at the knees. Just dipped below the zone in that in and low area. So pretty quick out, uncharacteristic of Dean West.
West now 2 for 4. And here's Chalowski. Strike one.
4 straight breaking balls.
So Yeager got the save last Saturday against Purdue, and they got the save this past Tuesday against Seattle. 2 saves in the last 3 games for Washington. Also tossed 2 shutout innings last Friday against Purdue, which included 4 strikeouts in there as well. Foul ball. 2-2 to Chalowski. Trying to start a rally here for UCLA and avoid snapping an 8-game hitting streak. Slider called, 3rd strike on the inside. Now what a start for Isaac Yeager.
2 straight batters, 2 straight strikeouts. This time going on that backdoor slider. Bauer, good job behind the plate, staying low and framing this on the inside part of the plate. Looks like he wanted this perhaps more on the outside, but that was enough to get Rock Chalowski.
So here's Lavu. I'll go back to the 6th inning. Banks and now Yeager have struck out 5 of the last 6 batters. And Yeager's just been a strikeout machine, now 35 of them in 27 innings. And now behind 3-0 against Lavu. 2 gone here in the 7th.
And the one thing to look into here is that throughout the season so far, only 7 walks in all those appearances so far, 26 innings.
And there's one on 4 pitches to Lavu. It does come with 2 outs already.
That's walk number 8. So those 2 strikeouts coming on 8 pitches, 4 straight balls.
Lately, that's the only way UCLA has had base runners. They have 1 hit since they scored their 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Both of those thanks to Roman Martin. And that 2 RBI single to plate the only runs of the game for the Bruins. And strike one, a slider there from Yeager. Martin has not been retired tonight. And Yeager in front, 0-2.
Gets the high strike at the belt. 2 straight sliders. Martin's had a couple of good swings today, so trying to keep him on the off speed.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Defense, even with 2 outs, still set to a shift here. Second baseman Cole behind the bag at second.
Slider called, 3rd strike. Isaac Yeager with an emphatic 7th inning for Washington. He strikes out the side and able to strand a 2-out walk. It's going to be Terry to lead off the inning for Washington. And now a strike at the knees, runs the count to 1-1.
Grotu's 2 fastballs so far. Low 3/4 release, maybe mid 3/4. There's that slider he'll throw with that arm slot. Gives you that good natural movement to the outside against lefty hitters.
Was hurt all of last season and only made 1 appearance as a freshman. Weekly struck, bouncing twice to second, and Phoenix Call throws out Terry to begin the 8th inning. So Grotus comes on and immediately gets it out. Now, redshirt sophomore, it's only his 5th career appearance here tonight. Strike 1 to Hotchkiss. And that's driven into the gap in left center and falling quickly, but West tracks it down.
2 quick outs here for Grotus. Got both of those outs on just 6 pitches. Just mixing between that fastball and that slider.
He's got a chance to retire Washington in order. It would be just the 2nd time tonight the Huskies gone down 1-2-3. Now Blake Wilson has something to say about it, though, as he swings through the first pitch. Wilson has not been retired. Drove in a run with that double last time up in the 6th. And he offered at it. Will Van Raphorst rings up Wilson, and the count to 1-2.
No appeal on that one, just a call from the plate.
Ground ball, fair at third. from behind the bag. Martin throws him out. The stretch from Lavu, and the side retired in order.
Hey, he's their big guy out of the pen.
Misses down low to A.J. Salgado for ball one. The 3 strikeouts. There was a walk in there for Yeager, but he was emphatic. Salgado 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts against Banks. Driven in the air to left center. Knight converging, and it will bounce up off the wall. Salgado standing on second for the leadoff double.
Salgado flexing that opposite field power. Hit that ball almost to where he made that really good catch out in left center field just some time ago. Seen him be able to spray across the field. This ball down at the knees. Just a good approach. And Knight, the center fielder, who's got good speed, playing more towards right center on that play to account for the pull of A.J. Salgado, but now a runner in scoring position for UCLA.
Here's Blake Baltz. Strike one.
A little extra time being taken here between this pitch.
A little bit of chatter there after the strike call. 1-1. Slider fisted and caught out of the air by Taggart. Salgado gets back to second quickly, and Baltz is retired.
That's a big out for Yeager on the mound. If you're Baltz, you just want to get that ball on the ground to move Salgado over to third base. An unproductive out.
There's a new right fielder for Washington. Cooper Witten is out there for Jackson Hotchkiss. A defensive replacement at the start of this inning. Meanwhile, we've got a pinch hitter at the plate for UCLA, Aiden Espinoza, hitting for Hockey. And that is ball one, down and in. Espinoza 1 for 8 this season. Has been getting some more opportunity as of late. A ball and a strike.
Squaring around a bunt here. Now Salgado at second's got good speed. So we'll see if he...
1-2. Espinoza, redshirt freshman out of Huntington Beach High School. Another left-hander in there against Yeager. 2-2.
Good pitch, better take by Espinoza. Little up in the zone. Yeager trying to induce that swing and a miss on a high fastball.
Struck him out. Number 4 for Isaac Yeager.
Making it look easy with that slider. Alternated the entire at-bat between slider, fastball, finally gets him on what looked like maybe a harder slider down and in. Bauer set up on the outside part of the plate, but this one stayed in right under the hands of Espinoza for the out.
So back-to-back outs for Yeager, keeping Salgado on second. Ball one to Cash Duggar. Two balls and no strikes.
And interesting seeing how Yeager, of course, you see the line there, 1 2/3, 4 strikeouts. They keep trying to set up a way to these hitters, and the zone hasn't been there the whole night.
Quickly 3-0.
In fact, the zone exclusively has been inside. And maybe slightly up.
And it's a 4-pitch walk. So 2 men on now for UCLA, and that brings the tying run to the plate in the 8th.
Sets up the force now at any base. 2 outs.
Call 1 for 3. Helped get things going in the 3rd inning with a leadoff single when UCLA scored their 2 runs. And a slow ground ball towards short. DiCarlo is there on the run. The throw is on target, and that'll end the inning. Chris Grotus continuing for the 9th inning, facing 9, 1, and 2 in the order here for Washington. Huskies leading 5-2 in game 1 of this series. Trevor Cole at the plate. Fouls the first pitch, backing out of play.
Grotus in that last inning, pretty efficient overall. 2 ground outs, 1 fly out, all in 10 pitches.
And quickly 0-2. It was the most efficient inning a Bruin pitcher has had tonight. Only the second time Washington was retired in order. The Huskies grabbing the lead in the 6th with 2 runs there, extended it in the 7th. Now trying to add some insurance here in the 9th. Two and 2.
Couple of breaking balls. Last one in the dirt. Trying to get him to swing and miss on something out of the zone.
Ground ball right at Rock Chalowski. Out number 1. So the way this game is trending, potentially going to be the 4th time this season that UCLA has lost on a Friday night. Of course, the Bruins have won every weekend so far this season, 8 for 8. Last time they lost on a Friday was in March. Indiana came in here, got a 5-1 win to open the series. For UCLA, came back for wins on Saturday and Sunday. Ball outside to Guerrero. Check swing, foul. Two and 1 now to Guerrero, who has enjoyed hitting against UCLA over the years. Sitting right around 350. He's got 4 home runs and 10 RBIs over the last 4 years as well. As he works ahead, 3-1 here against Grotus.
A rare count where Grotus has fallen behind. In fact, the first 3-ball count.
And gets a swinging strike 2.
This will be the longest at bat that Grotus has had so far. Pitch number 6 coming up.
And the strikeout. Well, Chris Grotus giving UCLA something to like here late in the ball game. His first strikeout.
Started him off with an off-speed pitch, a breaking ball, and then 5 straight fastballs. This one, challenge fastball, 3-2 count up in the zone. Just able to get it past him.
So now here is Taggart with 2 outs. Taggart, a former junior college player. One and one. Played at Centralia College for a couple of years. Then at Wazoo last season. And now with the Huskies as a senior. Grew up in Everett. He's been all over the state. A wave and a miss.
Beautiful off-speed pitch there.
That's where that arm slot comes into play, right?
Oh, yeah. 3/4 release. And a big loopy curveball.
Well, Grotu's trying to go 6 up, 6 down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Got him looking. Well, welcome back, Chris Grotus, pitching for the first time since early March. And he has retired all 6 batters he has faced, including back-to-back strikeouts. UCLA down to their final 3 outs when we return. Through the 25th. Get your tickets now, and both these teams certainly going to be a part of it. Question is where they will be. Still a lot of runway left in this season. But potentially only 3 outs left in this ball game. Last of the 9th, 5-2 lead for Washington. And Isaac Yeager deals a first pitch strike to Dean West. So it's the top of the lineup here for the Bruins. Chalowski and Lavu to follow. Second time that the Bruin batters are seeing Yeager. He struck out West in the 7th. Foul ball up the third base line.
Same mix as we've seen basically throughout his entire outing. Fastball, slider, fastball.
On the ground, up the middle, base hit. And so UCLA needing 3 runs gets the rally started with a leadoff single. Dean West now 3 for 5.
He's had a good game as the Bruins table setter just takes this 2-strike pitch up the middle. Doesn't try to do anything too special. He's got a nice flat swing out of that lefty's batter's box and able to find some grass out in center field to get something started.
So UCLA now out hitting Washington 8-7 in this game. They've done it without getting a hit from Rock Chalowski. First pitch swinging, a blooper behind second, but Cole is there for the out. So Chalowski down on 1 pitch. And worth mentioning, I think one of the big differences in this game to this point is unproductive outs for UCLA. When you look at advancement opportunities for each team, that is runner on base, less than 2 outs, Washington has been able to advance its runners nearly half the time, 8 out of 17 in those opportunities. UCLA, 4 for 18, less than a quarter of the time.
Those unproductive outs, they'll come and kill you. Let alone runners in scoring position, just moving runners in general.
Case in point, just to roll back to the 8th inning real quick, A.J. Salgado had that leadoff double. That's where he was left stranded.
Yep.
10 men left on base tonight for UCLA. It's now 2-1 to LaVue.
And even just with more straightforward stats, too. 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So almost double the opportunities to drive in runs than Washington.
2-2 to LaVue, who has got himself on base tonight with a couple of walks. Bruins have left a man aboard in every inning except the second. Full count.
And the Husky faithful, they wanted that call. Now behind the plate, Bauer was, again, set up on the outside. This one came back over the inside. Unlikely to get that call for a strike, even if it's in the zone.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Yeager will take an extra moment here after the foul ball, but he's been working quickly all night.
He's trying to keep a quick pace. That works in the pitcher's favor. Meanwhile, these hitters trying to slow him down.
Called third strike. Got him looking with the breaking ball.
And that's yet again, another strikeout looking. LaVue taking the slider that just kind of ended up back over the plate. Pretty straightforward strike 3 call. In fact, I think that's the 3rd strikeout or 4th strikeout looking.
Now Roman Martin. Dean West will advance up to second on that pitch. Oh, 0-1. And now 0-2, another slider. Yeager looking for one more strike. He got it. Washington takes game 1 from UCLA. Isaac Yeager gets the final 9 outs, which includes 6 strikeouts. And it's a great start to the weekend in Los Angeles for the Huskies.